this is why we haven't moved in crypto. Stock market as well. I mean, I'm not looking at the stock market on this show, but if you look at your stock market, it's probably mirrored what the dollar's done. Just some up and down bullshit. Because generally, unless you get a dedicated move in the dollar, you're not going to get a dedicated move in the risk on assets, which are derivative of the US dollar. Why are they derivative? It's because the US dollar is always the underlying asset. You use US dollars to purchase Bitcoin. You use US dollars to purchase, Apple stock, Tesla stock. So understand why that relationship exists. And, in crypto, I know it's not traditional finance, but to really understand why the market moves the way it moves, why the crypto digital asset markets move the way they move, you have to understand this chart. Hello everyone, my name is Dean. Let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is August 24th, 2023. And the question is, who's still here? Who's still here? Everybody wants to be a trader when there's a bunch of green on the market, in the watch lists, and, people are talking about Bitcoin on the nightly news, and, you're making a ton of money trading contracts on spot or whatever. Everybody wants to be a trader then. But nobody wants to touch the shit when we've gone through, hundreds of days of accumulation, hundreds of days of consolidation, and just, this kind of price action that's up and down, neither up or down, sideways mostly. Nobody wants to touch this stuff, okay? And if you want to think like a value investor, like a Warren Buffett, or a George Soros, you don't have to like them, but they all have one thing in common. They buy distressed assets. They buy when not everybody's talking about it. They buy when it's not popular, when it's unpopular, when it's seen like a Ponzi scheme, okay? I'm not telling you to do anything. I don't give a damn what you do with your money. I'm just sharing my analysis. And part of my analysis, I don't talk about this often, but part of my analysis is sentiment analysis, okay? And what sentiment am I looking at? Yeah, sometimes I peek at the Fear and Greed Index, but a lot of times I just use my own personal sentiments. My own personal sentiments have been telling me, people think I'm crazy. People around me think I'm crazy for even believing that any of this can change anytime soon, because all that they've seen is down and sideways, right? And so when they're saying, why are you investing any time whatsoever in this asset or in this asset class, you're nuts. And they love me, people around me love me, right? But they care for me, but this is their genuine thought, and I don't blame them. But this is what the market does, and this is why not everybody wins, right? In the long run, because a lot of people quit, okay? So if you just look at your watch list, you look at Bitcoin, right? You may be under that same impression, right? Let's zoom out to the 4-hourly time frame. Guys, I hope you're well. If you're getting value, please like, share, and subscribe. Okay, if you're looking at Bitcoin on the 4-hourly chart, right, you may be a little excited. You would have been a little excited because of the move that we put in just on Tuesday of this week, right? Yeah, Tuesday and Thursday. Yep, just on Tuesday of this week. We went up, okay? But we've come back down. But guys, remember, and this is kind of why some people talk about taking emotion out of it. I don't think you necessarily need to. You can be emotional as much as you want. It's just, take a step back, and in addition to your whatever emotion you're feeling, also do some analysis, right? And the analysis shows that you went up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles, and you came down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candles, right? Or 6 candles, right? Because this looks like it's starting to move up. Okay, so you went up for 6 candles, came down for 6 candles. You have a temporal sort of relationship between the moves up and the moves down. Furthermore, the move down came exactly to the phi ratio, the 0.618 right here, if you can't see it, at 25,871. Okay, and if you know anything about Elliott wave theory, you know that support on the phi ratio and that coupled with a move that is temporally equivalent on the way up and the way down is likely a wave 1 wave 2 situation. Okay, so that's, you're likely looking at a veritable impulse. Okay, so you didn't create a lower low, you didn't come any lower than the phi ratio. If you're looking at this analytically, you should be very encouraged by the veracity of this move and the likelihood of continuation of that move, given the pullback being a 1, 2, 3 wave pullback. Look, 1, 2, 3 wave pullback to the phi ratio of the preceding impulse. That should tell you, okay, even though the past, I don't know, however many hours that pullback took has sucked, I'm very encouraged. It was 24 hours. Past 24 hours have absolutely sucked, but you should be very encouraged on the small time frames given what we're seeing now. I'm not saying that definitely it's that, but again, technical analysis is probabilistic, no magic bullet, there's no certitude whatsoever. Probabilistically, you're looking at a wave 1, wave 2 situation in Bitcoin, and if Bitcoin's likely in a wave 1, wave 2 situation and at that phi ratio support and looking to move back up, then alts should be right behind. Okay, so there's a lot of different things going on. Not everything is in the same market phase, same exact market phase, but things are similar. Okay, so even though Bitcoin is in a wave 1, wave 2 situation, some altcoins may very well still be in a corrective, flat correction or something like that. But still, once Bitcoin starts going up, they should also start going up. So that's the idea. This is the encouraging bit. Furthermore, the analysis has to be, any decent analysis in stocks, in crypto, has to include analysis of the US dollar currency index. We have not moved but sideways and up in the US dollar currency index for quite some time. Let's go on the daily time frame. Guys, again, if you're getting value, I encourage you to like, share, and subscribe. Doesn't take much. So look, the DXY has been going up right here for quite some time, right? And this is this channel that we pointed out. This channel is going to have price action going up and down and up and down and up and down. Okay, we expected this move up, but another thing we expected is the channel to find resistance at this point, because this is 160 plus day resistance. So you should, find a rejection here. Okay, have we broken this channel to the upside? No, we've wicked above it. Very important technical distinction. It's not a break, it's a wick. Okay, what constitutes a break and what constitutes a wick? A break is taking the phi ratio of the preceding move down. So the phi ratio can be, remember, 0.618 or the 1.618, and then passing the 1.618. Okay, so in this instance, let me just show you really quickly. If you took the phi ratio of this preceding move, right, like this wave right here, and broke the phi ratio, which is at 1.618, right, Fibonacci extension, it's at 107.97. I know that's a ways off, but anywhere below 107.97, it's still fair game. I know it looks ugly, but technically speaking, this does not constitute a break until and unless that level is broken. Okay, same concept can be applied on the smaller time frames. Come with me to the hourly time frame. Let's go to the hourly time frame, or actually, let's go to the 4-hourly time frame, because we need a little bit of context. And I know a lot of viewers drop off when I get to talking DXY, and that's fine. But understand how crucial and valuable the DXY analysis is. The reason you haven't seen any kind of dedicated move in crypto is because of this. And if you don't understand why, then do your own research. Look at the relationship between the US dollar and risk on assets like Bitcoin and all cryptocurrencies. Look at that inverse relationship over almost a decade long, you know, a decade of trading. Prove it to yourself. The Bitcoin price, crypto prices in general do not move until and unless the US dollar moves in the opposite direction. Anyway, this, I pointed out before, is the range that we're looking at as our distributive range, okay? And for those of you who don't know, I'm talking about Wyckoff distribution. If you get to a certain level on a chart and you want to change directions, you don't just pivot and go. You have to put in these accumulation or distribution channels, right? So those are consolidation channels where you go sideways. You can go sideways like this, you can go sideways and up, you can go sideways and down. It's still sideways. And when you're going from up to down, we call that a distribution channel. When you're going down and up, that's an accumulation channel. Anyway, this distributive channel looks like it's coming to an end, and it looks like it has been coming to an end. I believe it started here, and this looks like my final pivot here, right? Because you went down and you went all the way back up. And again, what you want to do is look at, one, the channel that it's in, and two, just pay attention to the phi ratio in all instances, okay? And actually, what I want to show you is on the smaller time frame, the hourly time frame. Let's jump down, and you can see here there is, so this went up, down, this went up, this is down, this is up. Again, phi ratios, phi ratios, phi ratios. Take your Fibonacci retracement tool from this top all the way to that bottom and calculate the phi ratio. And if our move stays below this 104.123, then that is it. 1, 2, boom. That is it. Okay? And I'm talking about flat corrections. I'm talking about pivots. If you're not aware of these things, that it's not really the place. Maybe a live stream, I can flesh out an explanation on that. But just look at, Elliott wave corrective waves. A lot of people, when they study Elliott waves, they focus on impulsive waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up, and sometimes they may go into 3 waves down. But really, the real meat and potatoes. No, I won't say the meat and potatoes. The most valuable, in my opinion, the most valuable aspect of Elliott wave theory is in the study of corrective waves. And that is actually what Wyckoff analysis focuses on. Why corrective waves? It's because every impulse, whether up or down, some people like to short, some people like to long, most people like to long. Every move to the upside that's, fast and furious is preceded by a series of corrective waves. If you're able to accurately read that series of corrective waves, you can place yourself, you can position yourself to take advantage of that subsequent move. Okay, so yeah, that's the DXY. I'm looking for a pivot over here, okay, under the phi ratio, and this may be our rounded top here. Okay, this is why we haven't moved in crypto. Stock market as well. I mean, I'm not looking at the stock market on this show, but if you look at your stock market, it's probably mirrored what the dollar's done. Just some up and down bullshit, because generally, unless you get a dedicated move in the dollar, you're not going to get a dedicated move in the risk on assets, which are derivative of the US dollar. Why are they derivative? It's because the US dollar is always the underlying asset. You use US dollars to purchase Bitcoin. You use US dollars to purchase, Apple stock, Tesla stock. So understand why that relationship exists. And, in crypto, I know it's not traditional finance, but to really understand why the market moves the way it moves, why the crypto digital asset markets move the way they move, You have to understand this chart. Okay, so that's the DXY. I'm looking for a move very, very soon. And again, just looking at Bitcoin's chart, if you want to count corrective waves, a la Elliott wave, 2 degrees of AB basing and a pivot, here's what I'm seeing. Maybe, you know, accurate, maybe inaccurate, but here's my read. Nevertheless, first degree of AB basing, second degree of AB basing, and this is my pivot. So 2 degrees of AB basing and a pivot, I'm good to go. Okay, I can also use that to read a lot of other altcoins, right? If I look at Arweave, for instance, right? Look at this. 1 degree of AB basing, 2 degrees of AB basing. This is a clear pivot, right? Look at this. 1, 2, 3 waves up, right? 3 waves down. You see that? So 3 sets of flat corrections. If for those of you who don't know, I'm basically always looking for 3 sets of flat corrections in these Wyckoff accumulations or distributions, right? When we're looking at the US dollar currency index, we're looking for distributions. It's going to be the opposite when you're looking at crypto, right? And so here, these are accumulation channels, right? At least purported accumulation channels. And actually, if you zoom out, look at what something like Arweave is doing and has been doing. This is a high probability read. Why? Because on the high time frames, you're also getting a big high time frame sort of accumulation channel where you're at the base of said channel. If this breaks down, that is a significant breakdown. Basically, everything you've done for the past 460 days wasn't accumulation, it was distribution. And so tack on a lot of time before that price action, this chart turns around. Do you see what I mean? A breakdown would be consequential, it would be monumental, it would change a lot of things. So it's highly unlikely. It's possible, but it's improbable in my estimation, right? So this is how I'm looking at the charts. This is what I'm seeing. Guys, if you're still around, you want to be paying attention now when nobody's paying attention. Nobody thinks anything is going to happen until the halving, all that stuff. This is when you want to be paying attention. When people are fearful, this is when you want to buy, not financial advice. This is when you want to consider buying. This is when you want to consider positioning yourself, right? When people are fearful, not when people are elated, not when it's in the green, not when everybody's buying and telling their moms and cousins and uncles and aunties to buy. Yeah? So that's it for me, guys. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was useful. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you got value. And I will see you next time.